4, 3, 2, 1.
No, I don't.
Go.
You don't do that part, right?
Welcome
What?
to this episode of the Wodcast podcast.
Wodcast!
You are fired up, Armen Hammer, right now.
I am fired up, Armen Hammer, sitting next to cooling down Scott McGee, and
I'm gonna
trying to lose weight, shreddy lift.
I'm gonna scan the barcode of my kill cliff to put it into my my Lose It app.
Eddie's trying to calorie count now.
Yeah,
That's a thing.
So we got
That's a
Eddie
thing that
calorie
Eddie does.
counting, who it's a new thing. Eddie, by the way, hi. We haven't had Eddie for the last few episodes. Eddie's been out conquering the world through comedy, and now Eddie, are you aware that Machete is currently how many days into the whole life challenge are you?
I think it's day 4. Day 4 or 5.
How many points have you lost?
The thing is, I have to drink a half an ounce of water on per
A half ounce?
half ounce of water
Holy
per.
shit!
Wait! A half ounce of water per pound I weigh.
Yeah.
It's a fucking gallon and like
Yeah.
a half of
You
water.
should be wearing a Camelback right now.
Fucking hell! I tell you, it's tough. But the
So
water.
you just go swimming and drink till you're dry.
So I have like a gallon as my like I when I down it, but the first couple of days I couldn't do it. I was like, fuck, dude. Like I thought like, oh, for sure I'll be able to get a gallon down, and dude, it's
Hard.
All right. So
Yeah.
how long is it? How long are you doing this for?
I don't know, like 50 days or something.
50 days. All right. So we'll keep you guys up to date with what's going on Machete's whole life challenge. He's gonna come back.
You know what we should do? We
You know,
should
he
just.
probably looks like Antonio Banderas, and we don't even know.
I
it.
know. I wonder what he does look like skinny. And
You and I both.
you know what he might look like? Chi-Chi.
No, I think he's gonna be more guapo.
You know, it would be
No
really
offense,
funny.
Chi-Chi.
It'd be really funny if
He probably
I
looks
mean
like- he
it
probably
probably it probably wouldn't be funny for you, Machete, but if you got fatter over the whole life challenge,
Hey,
like
no,
I'm trying to bulk. Actually, I
we
don't know
mess
about
it up
bulk.
for Kenny.
Hey, no joke right now. I bet he actually looks a lot like Armen when he loses some weight.
Bullshit, dude.
Look at their faces.
Well, Armen's getting there.
Bulking season.
That's just his mullet growing.
All right, that's going to be our plan. We're going to try to ruin it for Kenny.
You guys gonna
Yes.
come have like donuts catered
Yeah.
every.
No.
every
We're just
podcast?
gonna put donuts at every Wadcast. They're just gonna be on the
No.
table.
You love In-N-Out Burger. I'll get you
Of
In-N-Out
course.
Burger.
Yeah, sure. Protein style, no cheese.
It's gonna
Oh,
be
boy.
double cheese, fucking extra bread. Can I get 2 extra bread?
Can I get the double with double bread?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I speaking of In-N-Out, one thing I found out they do is you can get grilled mustard. They put mustard on one side of the.
Yeah, you can.
and then they grill it, the actual patty with mustard on it, and it like crisps it.
That's what animal style is.
No, it isn't.
They do that in animal style.
No, they don't.
Well,
Yeah.
this episode of the episode Wodcast podcast.
I feel like he would know that better than I would.
That's
Actually,
true, yeah.
so I think I'm
when
just gonna
when
take this.
Machete knows he's right, you don't disagree with him because the way the tone he takes. Did you see
Yeah.
it? No, they
No,
don't. No,
you
they
see,
don't.
he stops.
Yeah, they do that.
See
No,
it?
they don't.
And he does not blink when he's right either.
No.
There's no blinking.
When he knows he's right, he doesn't want to argue with you.
Ernie the axe murderer Hurtado.
No.
All right. Well, there's a lot of information to get through on this episode. A lot to catch up on. Armen has a special announcement as well. Not that kind of announcement.
That's not coming yet till
till
the Bob Harper episode.
Yeah,
That's
so,
right.
With that being said, Bob Harper will be our guest on our 100th episode. We actually record that episode tomorrow. So based on Armen's announcement, that's why we're recording the 100th episode early.
This announcement really isn't that exciting for
It
most
is.
It's pretty exciting.
Wait, no. Stay tuned in the episode. We'll get to it later. Because
Nice little tease there, dude.
Eddie and I are going to have a blast with this. So
I'm gonna have a blast with it too.
Yeah, you are. This past weekend, Armen and I spent the day on one of the days out of the OC Throwdown down in Orange County. It was a competition, and we did an interview with Spencer Hendel and Brian Borstein and Anders Varner from the OC Throwdown competition staff. That episode will be playing next week. We're pushing it back a week, mainly because there's a lot of important subjects we want to talk about on this
This show
episode.
should just be called Logistics. We're just going to tell
Yeah.
you when everything's going to come out. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it's something really, really big in the CrossFit community happened and very tragic.
Hashtag community.
Yes.
That's important.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch you in your fucking throat.
Scott texted me the other day and goes, I've been looking everywhere for this hashtag community.
So the story behind this is Eddie like Eddie got really upset that we may have used hashtag community in one of our, because that is kind of honestly bullshit for the show. It doesn't really fit the show. But it turned out that Scott used hashtag community on his personal Instagram.
My own, not the Wodcast. I put it on my own fucking personal one, and it didn't have anything to do with. It had to do with the law enforcement community. So
you're gay in the law enforcement community?
No, there's a community there, dude.
It's just in love with law enforcement, dude.
Yeah, it's a good community, brotherhood.
Is it?
Yeah, and you don't want to piss us off either.
Yeah, because then
I love
cops.
I love cops.
So anywho,
piss Scotty off. Next thing you know, I'm getting pulled over in Santa Monica.
There you go.
That's the least.
He would never do that.
No.
Battering ram through the door.
I would just have crackheads scratching at your windows all night. I got a
how would that be any different than what I have right now?
Hey, I got a zombie army.
Do you know all the crackheads?
Oh yeah,
they informers and everything for you.
Oh yeah, informants, confidential informants. They do all kinds of stuff to get out of shit. They'll walk around telling people they're Eddie Ifft if they ask them
to. I'd like a crackhead doppelganger.
Yeah. Oh, dude, nope. I'm telling you.
It would not be hard to happen.
Right. You know what we should do for one episode? I should literally take Eddie with me out to work, and we can go have some fun.
Have like an on-site in Scott's car?
I'll have panic attacks. I watched cops shaking down a homeless woman last night. And I was like, I could never do that job because I'd just be like, I'd be like, I'm not touching her. Goodbye. And
no, you don't have to. I'll protect you. It'll be fun.
He'll protect you.
Yeah, I'll give you gloves and a mouthpiece.
There's been a lady living in the street, like literally living in the street, like on the street, like in traffic, and cars have to go around her. And it took 3 days till the LAPD got her. And I'm like, 3 days.
Just be more crazy.
That is a lot of time.
All right, so pulling it back together. At the OC Throwdown, if you guys have somehow been living under a rock, you haven't heard about the unfortunate circumstances that happened with Kevin Ogar at the OC Throwdown. I'm not going to be too much of a downer, but really briefly, what happened is on.
I don't think we could be too funny about this.
No, the second workout of the first day of competition.
Second day
competition.
It was third. Actually, it was third day. It was Sunday.
Yeah.
It was the second workout on Sunday. It was the strength bracket.
Yeah. And so the workout was a 3-rep max touch and go snatch. So he went out there on his very first rep, his opening rep of that. He goes to snatch the weight over his head, and you can see he starts to kind of fail it behind him. Lets go of the bar, and somehow the bar drops and makes contact. It looks like about mid back at the same time as his pelvis or his butt touches the ground. And at that point, it's hard to say if that is the exact moment that it caused the back injury or if
it was the T11 and T12 thoracic vertebrae, which is right in the middle.
Well, so if you pay attention to your back, if you follow your back kind of does
like an S.
Your shoulder blades, and as it curves in, that is your thoracic spine, and when it starts to curve back out, that's when your lumbar spine. So it started at the very bottom of the thoracic spine. So what he ended up doing was he separated his T11, T12, and severed his spinal cord. When that happened, he went down on the ground and obviously appeared to be in a lot of pain.
And shock and terror.
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, it's hard to watch, but...
And before you even ask, don't ask for a video because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not classy. So at the OC Throwdown, what they ended up doing was they had a lot of learning points that we'll discuss as this goes on. But Moose, who is that one very animated judge with his hands, he's very legit, almost like a drill instructor.
We need to have him on as a guest.
Yeah, he'd be a really good guest.
Oh yeah, all right, we'll get it done. So he had his staff, and they had a professional staff run out and make a circle around Kevin.
They had medics there and everything?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that part. They make a circle around them, around him, so it kind of blocked people's view of him, but also to protect what was going on around him. So another discussion point was that there was, I want to say, I don't remember, maybe 8 lifters and platforms next to each other, and guys continued to do their 3-rep touch and go snatch. So the action did not stop. So it continued, and it was weird. The cameras panned away, and guys were still going for their lift. I was told at that point it took about roughly, I don't know the exact number, about 15 minutes for the sirens and the ambulance to come. Once they did, he got taken away, and he's been taken care of. And just real briefly, he had a surgery, and the surgery was in the books.
Before you move forward, can I address those 2 points?
Well, I just want to state what happened and then go back and talk.
Right. But I think we should hit point by point. Well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so real brief. So Kevin's first surgery was in the book, or is in the books. And this is from Matt Hathcock. Kevin's first surgery is in the books, and though it is a step in the right direction, he's got a very long road ahead of him, more surgeries, years of rehabilitation, and a life drastically different than the one he knew before is in store for this young soul. And that Barbells for Boobs is setting up everything they can do, which is set up. And
KevinOgar.com.
Just, yeah, in a nutshell, go to KevinOgar.com.
Ogar, O-G-A-R.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if you don't want to do that, you can also send a check directly to CrossFit Unbroken.
Is that his gym?
Yeah, CrossFit Unbroken is in Colorado. I'll post up the address of that on our website, or you can actually just go to CrossFit Unbroken or the Barbells for Boobs on Facebook. Additionally, KevinOgar.com is out. I just looked at it, and it's functioning. Everything works there. You can go there and put money in, and it'll go directly to Kevin. There's nothing being taken out. There was a little criticism online about the Fundly account that got really popular. It's my impression that rate on the Fundly was at 8% that was being taken out, and Fundly, with all the community support, have that number has dropped to 3.9%.
Oh, that was nice of them.
That's
good.
Good.
So it's still a good spot to put in money.
That's better than some of the fucking pieces of shit out there that are trying to make profit off of this.
Yeah, and lastly, I think the one important thing, and then we'll go back and dissect this. But for Matt Hathcock, he said that the website is out, and please see that site for information and send all inquiries to the email that will be provided. They want Kevin's name to be out there, but they ask that if you'd like to make shirts or other items to sell, that you contact the site so his family is able to approve your efforts. Out of respect to him and his family, please follow the protocols that will be examined on the website. We believe companies that want to help should be donating the money, not making money by donations and partial proceeds of anything they sell. And they thank you for the understanding. And Armen, on his The Naked Exerciser page, I think put it in better language than I'm using right now. So that's that in a nutshell. And there's a lot of discussion points, and I think points that happened because of this, that's going to change a lot of things in our community for quite a long time.
I know for a fact that CrossFit HQ is very aware of it, and is sort of having discussions as far as what the repercussions would be, or what effects this has on sort of the way that they run their deals. It's unfortunate. It's a really, really tragic, unfortunate accident. But I think that there's things to be learned as far as how to plan for this sort of thing, and sort of like
Well, with that being said, when we say planning, we're talking about the medical aid. Is that right?
Yeah. So my understanding is EMTs came on site relatively quickly, and he was boarded and removed at about 15 minutes. Was maybe my timeline is off, but that 15-minute mark is.
I imagine at the CrossFit Games that there were a lot of medical staff on hand. I don't know about the OC Throwdown because I wasn't there. I did see medical personnel at the CrossFit Games when I was there. I didn't go to the OC Throwdown, so I don't know. As in regards to people not stopping, it's a new thing. It's never really happened. People get hurt and like pull away and do stuff. You don't stop. In a football game, you stop because they're in the field of play. If somebody crashes a bicycle in a bike race, you keep going. I don't criticize any of the guys that kept going for still going because you don't know how badly he's hurt.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
In like Olympic weightlifting, they put the board up and you don't, the Chinese people run out and throw the board up and you're like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
So you have no idea what's going on behind there. You're not going to look as you're CrossFitting to look over at the guy and see what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fault them for not stopping the workout because, we can look at it in hindsight and go like, well, yeah, he fucking broke his back.
Imagine
But
if
you
he
don't
was
know.
just having back spasms and they stopped the whole event.
Yeah, you just don't know. That's the thing.
Right.
You don't know, and I think in that situation, the best thing you can do is put yourself in their shoes. What would you do if that was the case? And it's like, you know, if you don't know what the extent is, and you have sort of like the professional capacity and the planning to like take care of injuries, then you just allow that process to take place as well as it can, as smoothly as it can, without sort of like trying to, you know, you want to have the effective dose, you know, and they reacted, I think appropriately.
The bigger argument is you know, doing snatches in a competitive you know, what was the workout again? It was 3 for.
Well, let's get into the actual programming in a bit. Let's clear the medical, because there's a whole lot of questions also that the listeners wrote in about that. I think for the medical standpoint, I know that the OC Throwdown had the appropriate medical staff on scene. They had a resident, they had a nurse, they had the staff there.
So they just didn't have the backboard.
But yeah, you can't stage like a whole trauma hospital for something like that. They had the appropriate medical staff, but even the appropriate medical staff that was there or
couldn't deal with something.
Let's say that
much trauma.
Yes, if I was there in uniform assigned to it, I mean, if I would have gotten there. And I would have done the same thing they did. Is like
they did.
Clear the area, keep him safe. Nobody move him.
Call 911
and get the proper people there to transport him.
Did he go by ambulance or did he go by helicopter or what?
Ambulance?
Yeah.
But ultimately, and before I even go any further, the OC Throwdown, those guys are heartbroken over this. You know, they feel absolutely terrible. And I think they did everything in their power and still do and will continue to do in support of Kevin. So
it's just an unfortunate incident. You can't point the finger at anyone.
No, absolutely.
For this.
But I think knowing with the information they had and what was going on, they did it right. I mean, no, there's no such right way, but they didn't fucking make it worse. No. I think in hindsight, and this is something where I think all of our competitions and maybe even at the gym is a way to learn that if somebody goes down, action stops, you know, just for the safety, because a lot of the times in CrossFit, I mean, you have kettlebells flying around, you have barbells flying around. I mean, just ultimately, what are we trying to do? Are we really trying to does every second really count that much when it comes to the safety of somebody else?
I've said this before a million times in the show where I said how many people or how many gyms have had a guy get hit by a car because all the runs are in the neighborhood.
Dude, shit happens to me all the time.
But I'm sure, you know, with the way CrossFit originated, and they said, oh, you know, you can do it out of a garage, and then you just make them run up the street. And that was kind of the whole idea of CrossFit. We don't need a track. We don't need this. We're just going to run on the street. You don't need to spend a lot of money. And I thought, that's all fun and good, but I know I've almost been hit a million times. And I find it hard to believe that there haven't been cases at certain gyms where people have been hit by cars or things like that, where you go to a place and you think, well, they're all thinking about my safety. They've got this all mapped out because we live in America where, they wouldn't take chances because of lawsuits. Mm-hmm. No, they haven't. I've seen millions of things. I've seen plates land almost on people's heads and crazy, crazy shit in the gym where people need to think a little bit more if you want to be safe. And that's why going in as a competitor, you have to say to yourself, how much is this worth to me? I'm putting myself at risk.
Absolutely. And I have something to say about that. 2 points, really. One, and this isn't a ding on Kevin whatsoever. This is something that I think everyone can learn from as a family man, and even before that, is that if you're involved in activities that there's a risk of injury, go get yourself some health insurance, okay? Something to pay attention to as far as putting yourself at risk, putting others at risk, and your family at risk. Lesson learned, no big deal. And recently, Kevin, and through the efforts of the CrossFit community, was able to pick up Medicaid as of January 1st of 2014.
Oh, nice.
So that's going to help him and his family and friends big time. So whoever did that, awesome job. I forgot my second point already. I'm all passionate about it.
Regarding sort of what the dangers of the activity is, you know, it's difficult to say that, you know, this is sort of something to be expected or planned for. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you play a game of pickup basketball, you can expect or plan for, you know, twisting an ankle or, you know, getting a sprain or something.
People die playing basketball.
But that's the thing. You don't plan for people dying playing basketball. You know what I mean? Because when people die playing basketball, it's a fucking freak accident. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what this was. I've never heard of this injury happening during weightlifting.
Yeah.
In a clean and jerk or snatch. The closest thing I can think of is Matthias Steiner, who's a super heavyweight in the Olympics, dropped a bar on his neck while competing, I think 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and he is not paralyzed. So even that guy dropping 400 pounds on his back is different.
I would tend to think that there's probably been more in the lower levels. There's been some serious injuries.
Well, I mean, it's hard to describe it because people haven't seen it. Not a lot of people have seen it, and I don't think people should see it because it's not anyone's fucking business. But it was like a series of just weird circumstances that all sort of timed in a really shitty moment.
But
people miss snatches behind them all the time. I've missed snatches. I missed a snatch fucking dangerously behind me.
140,000 people tried out for the CrossFit Games, and this is what's happening. You look at the X Games, and the guy died on the snowmobile last year in the X Games, doing the flip over the bars.
Jeez.
We'll have to edit. Harlow, Noosa, come here now, come here. Stop.
Fucking dogs.
So the guy in the X Games died, and then his brother broke his pelvis or something.
Yep.
And they've outlawed that part of the X Games now. I think they've kicked it out of the X Games completely because it was getting to the point where it was a fucked up event.
Right, but snatching is not dangerous.
No, I don't think snatching is dangerous, but I do think the snatch is a very, very high technical movement that maybe shouldn't be thrown into a competitive workout where you're going for time. That wasn't a time thing though. That was
for weight.
Well, yeah, it was for weight. Yeah, so that's even. I wouldn't throw it into a timed event, but again, I'm a firm believer of like you do put it in. And you say, hey, this is a risky movement. Rope climbs for time is a risky movement too.
Yeah,
you're climbing the rope a lot and you're 15 feet above the air.
I don't think there's any good argument for not including that movement in competition because you can say the same thing about riding a bike.
Sure,
right.
Yeah.
And
sure.
their
If
entire
you're running fast
competitions,
enough, yep.
Entire competitions are based on it. So it's like just because it's really like sort of neurologically taxing doesn't necessarily mean.
But
it shouldn't be there.
you as an individual should be aware of that.
Definitely.
That you are doing something that is when I climb the rope, there are times when I'm so exhausted that I'm like I'm gonna go up there, but I also have to be aware of my state of fatigue so that I can come back down because you don't want to.
Well, I have a point about that specifically in regards to Kevin. But first point I want to make is you take anything physical and something that is effort and you're pushing the limit there's a huge risk of injury, and with the right calculation, you can blow something up. I mean, I almost blew my knee out doing dishes, no joke. And I was not just trying to get out of doing dishes.
Sure.
I mean, same thing as surfing. I'm sure people have blown out a knee bowling. I mean,
people die surfing all the time.
Yeah, that's
look
what
at
I mean.
Andrew fucking buying them.
Exactly. So my point about Kevin is I found out that while they lined up in the hallway to go out for this event, and the event was you have 6 minutes to get a 3-rep touch and go max. So if they did it in the first minute, then they'd chill for the remainder of the time. So it wasn't like a huge rush. Right. It wasn't a timed 50 snatches for time. It wasn't like that.
It was like you could do 3, then do 3 again. Like you load up the weight to go higher and higher. Okay.
And so his goal, and so he had told one of the programmers that he said, "Thank you, and I'm really looking forward to this event, and thank them for programming it." Because it was his thing, and he was hoping to hit 270.
Wow.
And I believe, don't quote me on it, but I believe the weight that was on the bar when he injured himself was 235. And the first rep didn't look difficult for him. I'm not sure what happened when he let it go.
Balance a little or something.
But it's not like we can't hammer that the fact that it was performed X
yeah.
amount for time.
No, and he's a very, very
and he's proficient.
Accomplished.
He's clearly
accomplished.
proficient.
Yeah. And you know, you can watch tons of videos of him online, like working out, and he's a tough guy. It also could be, just as with any of us, it could have been, you know, something like an anomaly with his bone structure or something that just couldn't hold the weight and that kind of thing. So it's a freak accident. I don't think you can pinpoint it. I wasn't saying take the event out. All I'm saying is be aware.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you're putting yourself
definitely it's important to sort of realize, and Mike Winchester from CrossFit Central put up a really good post about this on his blog, where he was talking about, sort of realizing that, Kevin Ogar was doing something that, he really loved doing, but more importantly, that it's something that we all have experience with, but we have to realize that it's not inherently dangerous, but there are dangers involved.
Sure.
Right. And with any sort of physical activity, you can look at a gym and every fucking piece of equipment in there can kill you.
You know
what I
what?
mean? So it's like, you just have to be aware that, if something goes wrong, things can go wrong very badly. Luckily, it's 1 in a million that it goes wrong as badly as that.
Yeah, statistically, I don't think this is going to be, and I'm sure the critics are going to, the critics
and the
of
people,
CrossFit
the
are
people who are
after
making
it.
that argument are idiots.
Time Magazine had that article that came out a week before this, and criticizing and actually not so much criticizing, but talking about the critics of CrossFit, like where CrossFit's gone, and the critics of CrossFit, and the injury example. And of course, a lot of people are going to, and I'm usually on that bandwagon, but of course a lot of people are going to get injured because a lot more people are working out.
Sure.
And if a lot more people were running, there would be a lot more injuries. If a lot more people were playing basketball, there'd be a lot. There's injuries in sport when you're physically doing things.
Exactly, and you have critics for everything.
And you're going to get hurt. And these people that, the personal trainers that are not CrossFit oriented, that argue against it all the time. I doubt there are people who are going to get hurt when they're doing 3 sets of 10 and sitting, not as much, and in that contained environment. Probably, but people aren't going to see the gains. So
right.
it's risk reward. There's definitely.
But the point is, the risk isn't
It's not this massive.
It's not
risk.
massive. Exactly.
No.
It. The risk is not massive. I mean, the craziest thing that I've ever had to do is I've had to put someone's shoulder back in.
Well, that's good. I'm glad they let you do that, Dr. Armen.
Shit, dude. When you're in the middle of something, you got to take care of it. But even that is like, the dude was a baseball player, had a history of shoulder dislocations, knew what would, sort of put him on the edge, was a pretty strong athlete, and was riding that edge. And he was like, listen, if this happens, you're going to have to help me with this.
Okay, so he knew. Yeah. My thing with it is, with a lot of people in the sport, which I've always said, know where you are and what you're going to get out of it, and is the risk of injury worth it? Are you going to push it? I mean, this is a bad argument with Kevin because he was an accomplished one. He was a games athlete,
and he was doing it in competition.
He was doing it in
different
competition,
than gym.
And he also was doing a relatively low weight for what he had done. So it's like saying, this happened to somebody someone like me doing a warm up weight, which weirdly enough, sometimes I have I have more difficulty doing it at a lower weight. So I mean that could have been some of the problem for him too. Like he was trying to kind of maybe move through it quickly to get to his heavier weights, and it just kind of threw him off because it was lightweight for him. You'll never know.
So needless to say, I think it's safe to say that anything can hurt you. I mean, I've seen people die because they didn't look when they were walking down the stairs. I mean, it doesn't matter. Pay attention to what you guys are doing and be safe. Not to say that Kevin wasn't. It's just a reminder for us.
Just a reminder.
Terrible. Like the precise timing of that must have been is like the ratio, the chance of that is like probably like you probably have better odds of winning the lottery. The timing of it. So anyway, so we'll keep you guys updated. We're going to continue to support Kevin. We're going to share as much information as we can. If you guys see people using this as a way of promoting themselves,
tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, fuck them.
Tell us about them.
Yeah, tell us about them, and we'll take care of them. We'll stick the naked exerciser on them.
Or the Terminator.
Or Shreddy.
RoboCop. I mean,
who's Terminator?
RoboCop.
Oh yeah. So needless to say, let's maybe transition to. Well, how about this? Let's take a second to listen to what Killcliff has to say.
All right.
Even though Machete's not here, can we make a note?
Does someone write that down?
Where did Machete go? He's eating. He's binge eating.
He's binge eating right now?
Thanks, Chichi.
Anyway.
All right, so now we're going to move forward. Again, from the Wodcast podcast, much love to Kevin and Matt Hathcock and all you guys out there that are doing a lot of work for him. but to change gears, Armen had a pretty big weekend while the OC Throwdown was going.
Mm-hmm.
Armen, why don't you tell listeners what you had going on this weekend?
I was not able to make the OC Throwdown, unfortunately. I was looking forward to going, but I had already scheduled my starting strength seminar, my second starting strength seminar with Mark Ripito. I'd done it the first time in March of last year. I did it last March, and then I was auditing this time.
And what does auditing mean?
It's like the second step in the process of sort of like after becoming one of the coaches to be on the staff that he has.
Now, does that mean that you're going to eventually go around and travel and do the seminars with him?
I have no idea. Possibly that's a possibility. It's kind of like a step one of a job interview. I would assume is like the easiest way of
So
putting the equivalent.
that actual seminar, was it more? Would you say there's more CrossFitters there, or more people like powerlifters or into strength?
It's half and half. So Rip's, if you have not gone to Rip's seminar, I would highly suggest it. He has two different versions. He has one that's more sort of like lifter focused. Is one that's more like coach focused. The one that I went to is the more coach focused one. It's the same one that I did last time.
Could you actually tell, like, maybe like a 10-second thing who Coach Rip is to the people out there that might not know?
Mark Ripito is the owner of Wichita Falls Athletic Club in Wichita Falls, Texas, which is a podunk little shithole in North Texas.
Sounds fun.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get 2 listeners writing in now angry.
Yeah, right. It's they would probably agree. They'd be angry that I was so kind to it. By the way, that podunk little shithole has like 3 CrossFit gyms. Anyway,
weird.
so it's a tiny little place in North Texas. Rip has been in the iron, like sort of like strength game for a really long time, and his method has been around for the past like 30 years. It's not really anything, in terms of like building strength. It's not super groundbreaking, but it's sort of like a well-known secret. Like it's what strong people use.
And he's the guy that says like, "Hey, your shoulder hurts, back squat. Hey, I'm in a bad mood, back squat."
Yeah. So if you've ever heard, if you're gonna wear gloves, make sure it matches with your purse. I believe that's a Rip quote. Rip used to be affiliated with CrossFit for a little bit earlier in the year, but basically Rip's
earlier in the history of CrossFit,
2006.
Yeah, that's why I'm explaining.
So Rip's thing is Rip was like. He was one of the first CSCSs. He was in the first class of CSCS. He was in the first class of USA's level 1. So he's been around powerlifting,
you just
weightlifting.
Dumped a bunch of acronyms on
Certified strength and conditioning coach and USA weightlifting coaches. So he's been around weightlifting and powerlifting and stuff for a long time. And what makes his thing so different and cool is that it's very, very much based in a model of physics. So every movement is based around what are the physics of the lifter and barbell system, and how do we minimize the things we don't want and maximize the things we do want. And it's really, really powerful. It's really powerful stuff. Like I geek out on it. I geeked out on it every time.
Speaking of powerful,
there we go. Machete's back in the room. But yeah, so for a little while he was with CrossFit for a little bit. He was
he in the fallout during when Rob Wolf went and
kinda his was probably right around the same time, maybe 2010.
What was his exodus? What was that?
It was I mean, I don't know if it was really one thing particularly. He just is over CrossFit.
Did he leave on his own, or was he
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a story that
I don't
find on the internet?
I don't know if there's a story behind it. I mean, you can find his opinion on CrossFit in a lot of different places.
Wait, but he's the one that just wrote the article that came out that's been very popular.
He writes some articles for Huffington Post.
Right. The one that
he wrote like the good and bad and ugly of CrossFit.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
That's Mark Ripito.
Okay.
I didn't read that.
That is flown around the world. That's
yes, it has.
Very popular.
So now you're gonna go. So you can go to a Rob Wolf seminar next, and then.
yeah. Rob and I are playing golf in Arizona next week or something.
And then you and Tony Budding are going to go do that.
Yeah. I'm helping start the professional, exerciser league or whatever it is.
What's that? Does anybody have seen any movement with that at all?
Oh, it's happening. There's been a whole lot of fancy like business plans and stuff floating around.
Really?
Yeah.
And a lot of the top athletes are talking about it.
It's inevitable. It's almost like a no-brainer. Just somebody has to do it, and it looks like he's going to do it. And I watch Armen's going to try out.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna own one of the teams and put myself on it.
That's
we should actually have a team.
That's the weirdest.
That's where we put Convictus.
That's the weirdest part of it is where will they draw the lines for the teams? Will it be a city team or a state team, or will it be an area team, or will it be a corporate team? How are they?
We should just have Tony on and talk to him.
No. Those answers are out there, and I want to say yes to all of them because they're given the option for doing like city or area based, as well as say Killcliff has a team.
Because I think that's gonna have to happen if they want to move forward in the games. Because everybody called cheating, like what happened with some of the teams saying, well, they didn't work out long enough in this gym to be part of this gym, and those rules are pretty stupid. And it's pretty hard to say with the size of some gyms, or if they're combining their athletes, if they own more than one location. And so it's going to have to get to the point where it's like, all right, you got your Yankees team, they're just paying them more than everyone else. And
it's going to happen.
It's the
It'll be
evolution.
The Killcliff Cougars.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch, and we'll work on getting Tony Budding on the show for sure.
The other thing is, for it to happen, having a sports team is incredibly expensive.
Yes.
And yes, does the travel costs?
No. I'm not shaking my head at disagreeing. I'm shaking my head at just the insanity of the entire idea.
What
sponsor
is going to has the money other than Rogue to get behind maybe Progenics to get behind a team?
Strength reps.
Reebok.
And high temp
weights.
And
Killcliff is going to have an awesome team.
Killcliff's going to have a great team. Tupood.
You know what?
Tupood's going to be rocking some wild tunes.
Goat tape.
Goat tape.
The Killcliff team is going to have an awesome time.
The goat tape.
Innovate.
But who could afford a team?
Dude, it'll start off cheap and it's going to grow.
It'll start off cheap. What I heard was like,
what was the Bad News Bears? They're all getting in one van together.
What was that NFL season that was all the scabs? It's gonna be that. It's gonna be like CrossFit
Keanu
scabs.
Reeves was the quarterback.
Yeah, it's gonna be like CrossFit scabs. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I'm already curious. Okay, so what was we'll get into the OC Throwdown, but what was the winning? Did the winner got $5,000?
$10,000.
$10,000. Okay, and what was down the line? Like second
it's like
place?
$10,000, $7,000, $5,000, I think.
Okay, so 3 people were making money.
Yeah,
I looked at a lot of those athletes. Like Orlando Trejo was there, or whatever his name.
Orlando Trejo was there. What the fuck? Really?
Yeah, like there are
he
guys.
He flew from South America to come to California.
There were Australian. Amanda Allen was there.
Yeah. Okay. So
there were athletes from all over the world there. And that's what I'm curious about. Where are they getting their funding to come to these events?
Okay, so number one, Julian Cerna at
Australia.
No, not Julian. He's I think it's Bissau CrossFit. Ben Gerard is from Australia. He got second. And our very own Kenny Leverich got third place.
Who, Kenny, by the way, donated his winnings to Kevin Ogar.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah,
that's a good guy.
Yeah, and then you had obviously a lot of big names there, like Garrett Fisher, who got 5th place at the OC Throwdown. He also got 5th place at the games.
Which means the OC Throwdown is as hard as the games.
That's exactly
That's what I heard, right?
Yeah. You had people from all over, not only like United States, but like Eddie said, Australia and
it really was a worldwide competition, which is really interesting considering where it started, and like some people still kind of hold on to that.
You had somebody from England.
Mm-hmm. She did okay.
Yeah.
Samantha?
Yeah, Sam Manchester. She got
she's here though. She's been training here. She didn't come over for this.
Well, no, she
came over like last week or something.
Yeah, she came here a couple weeks ago. I've been training. Did some stuff here, and then did this competition this past weekend. And then next weekend she's going out to Miami to do Wadapalooza. And then she's she went down to San Diego to do something.
Has to go back to England at some point. Yeah. Otherwise, she's going to be forced.
3 months.
She's going to be forced to compete.
And then you also had a little Canadian.
No, but I'm curious. These people that are traveling all over, where's their financing coming from?
Okay, so I don't know if we really want to
rock tape.
Yeah, this could be a topic, and we talk about it all the time, but this could be a topic for an entire episode. The people that don't, outside of like 3 female CrossFitters and like 5 male CrossFitters, there are people out there that train as if they're a professional athlete in CrossFit that are never gonna get a penny.
Well, most of them own their own CrossFit gym, so I'm sure their CrossFit gym is fucking floating their shit. They're like going hand to mouth with whatever their CrossFit gym is doing and just giving off the top.
People there with 2 coaches and warming up and like, oh my gosh, I need this tape, getting all kinds of treatment
What do they think? They're me?
And they're like, in 38th place.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's a weird look.
You know,
so here's
the guy who got what, second or third in the online qualifier last, and he also at his region, he placed first in his region in the Open at regionals last.
What's his name?
What does that tell about us? Oh fuck, I don't remember his name. Hold on a second, I'll find it right now. I'm gonna call the shit out of him right now. I'm gonna call your fucking name out right now.
While Armen's doing that, I think I'm kind of curious, like what the drive is for the people that spend hours and hours and hours a day at the
Courtney
gym.
Wustinger.
Or
Prove
Courtney.
your shit, dog.
Courtney,
I'll tell you what it is, because it happens in stand-up comedy. It happens in surf. Like, I see stand-up comics who will go 10 years without making $1 and just go out and do open mics every single night. And you look at them and go, what are you doing? You're never going to make it. And all you're doing is wasting your time. That's a hobby. They're not spending a lot of money, but they're spending time, and it's opportunity cost. Mm-hmm. But then, I used to see Dimitri Martin like that for years and years, and all of a sudden he just hit. I don't think you have the time window in CrossFit to do that. You've got about 3 years. If you haven't hit in 3 years as a CrossFitter, it's probably not going to happen.
Fair enough.
I forgot to talk about the extravagant, gigantic
the cargo net
that the OC Throwdown had.
I have to say this. The OC Throwdown, a great event. I like the programming, everything. The video of it online was so difficult to watch, and the scoring, the way they were showing the events, they weren't giving us detailed information. They would talk about what the event was, but it wouldn't give, like, for the bench press and 40 time, it wasn't giving us any splits, and it wasn't giving us any, and it didn't even list what the weight was or how many times they did it. So it was so confusing.
I figured out by accident how to figure out all that information and how to figure out everybody's 40. And depending on the computer you have, the desktop, if you pull up the scores and you bring your cursor over each person's square, it usually will come up or you either have to click and you can see a different screen. Either way,
fucking Matrix Scott here.
Yeah,
like
who would have thought
Matrix.
he would have known how to do that? Were you having difficulty with it?
I couldn't watch it. The starting strength seminar
you were in Ripito.
He was in Ripito's butt.
It's 5 to 9 on Friday, and then 8 to 10 on Saturday, 8 to 8 on Sunday.
You were carrying Ripito's weights around.
So, needless to say,
I don't think I had to actually. I did carry a couple bars though.
The OC Throwdown had a humongous, like the size of a hanger, huge like white cargo net that they spent all morning and afternoon putting up, and then they had a huge pull-up rig that had a bar going from one end to the next, and it was probably, I don't know, I'm gonna throw a number out here and say it was 20 meters long.
Holy shit!
And they had a bunch of those, and so the last workout, everyone was supposed to get through all the movements, climb up the cargo net, come, and then have to traverse this bar to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
All the guys went first, and these are legit guys like Kenny Leverage and Garrett Fisher, John Parra. There's like super studs there. Not one of them came close to even touching the cargo net.
Wait, I thought you said the cargo net was first.
It's
It's last.
Oh, so they had to go down the bars. Then
they had to finish a chipper.
Okay.
And it was like overhead squats and muscle ups and airdyne and back squats and deadlifts.
Oh, I
and
see.
Wall ball. And
so what you're saying is
and
they
nobody
didn't
got
even
to it.
So it was a waste of time for the OC Throwdown.
And then in the girls, it's even funnier. It's even funnier with the girls.
So it's 3 triplets, okay, and then they get up and all the girls. The first heat goes, nobody comes even close to it. Because you have to finish. It's like the last piece before it is like
that must have been killing
20 heavy deadlifts.
The owners of the OC.
Oh my gosh! And then like nobody touched it, and then finally, Sam Briggs, the lone climber, makes it through, climbs the cargo net, goes, and then traverses the bar to the finish line and finishes the workout with 2 seconds left on the clock.
Wow!
Nobody else touched it.
Took the fittest woman on earth.
Wow!
To finish that workout.
How cool was the cargo net and the bars? Was it pretty cool?
I mean, it's cool.
How high was the cargo net?
Oh, it was high.
It was like 20 feet.
Yeah, it was up there.
Like the Navy SEAL course?
No, not that high, because that's like really high.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I drove by that. I was down in San Diego this weekend, and I drove by the. You can see it from the road.
Yeah,
if you
it's
drive
like
by
400 feet tall. I think
it's terrifying.
I think it
5
has
stories.
different. It has different weather sections.
I saw their obstacle course.
It's colder at the
and
top than it is at the
that
bottom.
That would be unbelievable to put that in the games.
It's so big they named it after my dick. Oh, come on!
No,
give it to
why
me.
would you high five
Chi-Chi,
him on that?
give it to me. Give it to me right here.
Don't.
Chi-Chi, give it to me.
Don't do
God
it.
damn it, Chi-Chi, give me a fucking high five. Fist bump.
Armen,
Not even close.
I'll give you that if you
Thank
sit
you.
down and be quiet.
Yeah, shut up.
All right. Sorry, everybody. Armen just has to talk about dicks. So needless to say, getting back to the cargo net, Sam went up and saved the cargo net and
Like
the bar.
it was worth it.
They should have given it to her. Like, congratulations, you've won the cargo net.
So
She's now sponsored by
So
Cargo
needless
Net.
to say, 2 points with this. I talked to Bearcat, our resident intern tryout still. He's the ultimate volunteer. He dedicates his time to these competitions in Southern California. He had to leave and didn't get to watch that, but he was a volunteer that helped spend 3 hours
Putting
up just the bar that gets traversed and all those bars. And he found
yeah,
out that
'cause
only one person climbed it for like 10 seconds, and the entire cargo net, the whole entire thing.
Those bars, they're all put together with bolts and everything.
Oh yeah,
they
bolted it to the ceiling. They did all kinds of stuff. So I asked Anders Varner about this. I'm like, hey, dude, like,
who is one of the guys that organizers?
One of the organizers.
He's the guy who programmed it.
He came on our show last week that will air next week, and he said that they programmed it so only the fittest would make it through, and that's exactly what happened. Well,
listen,
I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
I don't have anything against Anders or Brian.
Hey, maybe it was hashtag political,
but I'm just saying it's really easy to after the fact
Yeah.
be like, oh, we were totally
yeah.
planning on no one fucking.
Admit when you made a mistake.
So
Yeah, just-
ultimately, yes, some over programming.
Maybe perhaps they should have just cut the reps on that last set of chippers just by 2/3.
Yeah, but
or take the weighted vest off the 20 muscle.
How dare you?
Because I still think the greatest moment in CrossFit ever, like watching anything, is when Josh Bridges or Spieler did the when they had it in the CrossFit
The monkey
games,
bars?
the monkey bars,
and just like whoop, whoop, and
zinged
just
past,
one.
but he
Yeah.
was behind Matt Chan.
Yeah.
And Matt Chan just was like dying, and he just caught up to him. The whole crowd was
Yeah.
like going nuts.
That was pretty cool.
It was it just shows that anything involving a race in the games
Is always
and
gonna-
that's why, as you look at it in competitions moving forward, to make it better for the viewer, you need to spread out the exercises, put them far apart from each other so that the fans can follow it and go, okay, we know where he is now.
I think what happens, they try to do something like this on this last workout, and the last workout they did was a fucking crusher, dude. I don't ever want to do it. But I think in a way it kind of backfired because the time cap was like 22 minutes. And part of the draw, so in the beginning they had to do 50, half of your body weight. They weighed everybody. Half of your body weight overhead squats, and then 20 calories. I think it was 20
on the
calories
assault bike,
on the assault
and then
bike.
20 muscle ups weighted.
20 weighted muscle ups with I think a 20-pound vest.
Oh.
And what ended up happening was there was a lot of that was a huge choke point of the
muscle
competition.
ups was doing
Yeah,
it.
they're doing singles, a couple. Some people did like 5 at a time. But either way, it slowed things down and it kind of took away some of the entertainment. After that, I'll keep going because you don't know. Then they move out and they do 50 back squats with half your body weight.
Same bar. Yeah.
50 wall ball. I don't know. Was it either? I don't know the wall balls or double unders first, but 50 wall balls with a 30-pound ball.
And then it was like 30 double unders with like a heavy
A
rope.
weighted
Yeah,
rope.
and
Not
weighted
like a heavy rope like a boxing rope, like it was like a rope, like climbing ropes,
So
right?
you've already done 50 squats in the watt bike, and then you have to go do
I'm
50 more.
I'm still on the bike.
50 more back squats, 50 more back squats, and then 50. I mean, your legs are on fire.
And then after that, it was like fucking 2,000 snatches.
Well, then you go and you do 20 snatches at 165.
These people were freaks.
So
They're
and
Oh, yeah,
absolute
totally.
freaks.
so this is it. 20. Some guys finish the snatches. I don't know if any of them, maybe one. I don't even know if any of them actually loaded up the bar and
For
put
the deadlifts.
The next portion would be hypothetically if there's a higher time cap was 20 deadlifts at 315. Then you go up the
I
cargo
saw
net.
that. Yeah.
Then you do the cargo net and you traverse the bar. So a little over
If they
programming.
did get to the cargo net and the traverse, that probably would have been a bit of a break after all of that.
No, absolutely, and I think it also entertaining. So in a way, as a spectator, I'm kind of bummed that the guys aren't more fit. They can't finish the workout.
But when there's a workout like that, I don't like to see. I like it to be hard at the very end. I don't like it to be an easy kind of sprint at the end thing. It should always be something where they're pushing themselves to the limits.
I
Like
wonder though. I didn't check. I wonder how the floor was underneath that cargo net. Because if you figure,
It
let's
was
just say,
10 inches of padding.
oh, okay. So they didn't froning it from
No,
2010.
they did not. I spoke with some of the organizers.
The triple Fran was the worst looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, terrible.
Yeah. So
terrible.
It was one of the highlights. Our own Ryan Fisher.
Ryan Fisher just proved his freakishness on that event.
He had his third Fran. He had a negative split.
They take the slowest time. So it's 3 Frans on 5-minute mark.
Yeah. Starting 5-5-5.
Yeah, starting at the 0, then the 5, and the 10-minute mark.
And what was his last one? Was
his
3?
His slowest one was 3:41.
Jesus.
Yeah, I could pull up right now, but I'm not going to. But it was faster. Either way, it's one of the highlights for a lot of people of the OC Throwdown was Ryan Fisher's Fran. Same thing with Sam Briggs finishing the last workout, and then
the workout that I wish I got to see was the swim workout, and I only saw a couple people's like Instagram videos of it, and I saw that there was one guy doing breaststroke, which I found pretty funny.
What's wrong with that?
I would side stroke it.
My question is, that workout looks on paper pretty easy. Is it awful?
It's
it
terrible.
Terrible.
No, well, yeah, because they're going so hard.
Have you ever done burpees and swimming?
I can't imagine.
It's really bad.
I've done the swim sprints with push-ups, and it was bad.
It's really bad.
So I hate burpees as it is, and the get out of the pool must have been bad too.
Yeah.
You know, doing that after a sprint, after a full sprint, jumping out of the pool, then going straight into burpees. It's got to be bad, but the way it went 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, I guess, because you're swimming, you're getting less break on your swim, but the swim would be kind of a break because you couldn't lose much time on the swim.
I don't know. I think as far as efficiency
did they
goes,
look
some
like they
people
were
are
getting
better.
crushed on that?
I actually didn't stay for that. That was Friday night.
Yeah.
And we had already left in the afternoon.
Where did they do that? Is there a pool at the...
No, they went nearby to some aquatic center.
Okay. Because I wondered. You couldn't find it.
So before we get into... Because we actually have a decent amount of questions here for the lightning round.
Yeah.
Do you want to... So we can briefly talk about your fun thing that you have planned up and where you're going to be?
Yes. So I am going to be going to Antarctica to run a half marathon.
And to back it up...
It would be so cool if it was a whole marathon.
I'm not doing the whole marathon. I have the option, but I'm not
I
gonna do
think for our listeners and viewers now that can watch us on YouTube,
Nope.
that you should have to do the whole marathon.
I'm just going to go with nope.com.
And if you do Scott and I will have to do something if you can do the whole
You
marathon.
guys will have to run a half marathon, a whole marathon as well?
No, I'm going to Boston.
Okay. So there you go.
No. But we'll do something at another date.
I think you
If
should do
you
No.
can do this.
I think you should do a burpee mile.
I don't have any problem.
A what?
A burpee mile.
It's a burpee into broad jump, and you do it until you finish a mile.
I die.
No. Here's the thing. Running is not difficult.
You've run how many marathons in your life?
4.
Then this is going to be easy.
I do not give a shit about actually finishing a half, a full, or 50K, which are the 3 options. I'm not interested.
You're going to Antarctica. You might as well run the whole marathon.
No. Here's what I might as well do. It's a short course. It's a short course that's all turnaround.
This is like saying
Hold
you got
on
a
a
girl's
second.
bra off.
No, it's not, because here's the thing. We only have a limited amount of time on the continent, and if I finish the half marathon, then I get the rest of the time that I have on the continent to just fucking wander around and hang out with penguins
there's so
and
much
shit.
to see.
I get my passport stamped Antarctica. Fuck yeah, there's a lot to see. There's like a post office.
You can
and like,
see it while you're running.
Fuck that,
For
dude.
4.5
no
hours.
chance. No chance.
I like how-
marathons can suck my fucking balls.
I love how this is like a cool thing. You're like going to Antarctica to go run a thing. Eddie just dumped all over it.
No, well, listen, it's
I just
two.
feel like
it's
if you're
two.
going to do it
I know.
right.
Hey,
It's actually
I'm
two. It's 2 races. It's one in Chile and Punta Arenas, as well as the one in Antarctica. So within 20 hours, I'm going to be running 2 halves.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
okay.
know that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
two half marathons. So the trip is like a
Why
double
don't
continent.
you run the whole marathon and then skip the one in Chile?
Because I want the double continent.
You
I
don't
want 2 continents.
No one
Fuck it.
cares that you ran a half marathon
So
in
that's
Chile.
like-
No one cares.
You know what that is? He's half-assing on 2 continents.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm being intermediate, guys. I'm being intermediate
Oh,
on
okay.
2 different continents.
Do you,
Please.
do you split
That's
up?
so
do you
elite
split
of
up
you.
Mm-hmm.
Fran when you do it? 2 days, 2 different days.
I do actually.
Armen, That's some elite intermediateness right
Yeah,
there.
that really is.
Like, here's the deal. It's literally just like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I've been on the wait list for
Machete,
this.
quit the whole life challenge now.
I've
Just
been on the wait
quit.
list for this for over a year. I just signed up for it. My mom and I signed up for it, and we're just like, if it happens, it happens, and we'll make it fucking work. Like, as far as the scheduling and stuff goes, and we just happen to get in.
You know, when I ran the Las Vegas Marathon, there's a point
in your
where,
loafers
where they tell you
Yeah.
you're running and you can just cross you've got like a mile from the half marathon, or you turn right
and go into the desert.
You go into the desert and you run the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I fucking manned up.
So
Armen.
here's the thing about the course.
Yeah.
The course is set up for safety first. So it's
You're starting. This you're pissing backwards here.
it's loops.
Now you're
It's
talking
the
about
same
safe.
course. You
It's
just
safe.
run it out and back like 12 times.
So you're gonna finish it, and then you're gonna see the real men go and
Yes.
do it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Okay, well you better win.
I'll probably win my age group.
You better win.
What
some.
fucking 24-year-olds going to Antarctica and
I'm just saying
to
you
run
bet-
half marathon?
They got Eskimos there already.
Yeah.
You
I
better-
could honestly, I don't give a fuck about my time. I'm gonna stop and do burpees every couple
gotta make
minutes
us
just
proud.
because it's gonna be really boring.
So less exciting. Machete and I at the same time while you're freezing your nuts off, we're gonna be freezing our nuts off.
It's actually gonna be colder in Boston than
Actually,
it
I
is in
checked. It's
Antarctica.
warming up there.
How much is it gonna be?
It was
How-
40 degrees today.
Oh, that's good. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
And it's 48, and then okay,
In Antarctica or Boston?
Boston.
What's
In
it gonna be?
Antarctica, it's gonna be.
We actually haven't told anybody, but
Oh yeah. Well, hold on a second. Antarctica
Right.
is gonna be 30 degrees low, 40 degrees high. It
it's
could
gonna
change.
It's gonna switch.
It's probably gonna get colder, but
I have
but
Machete.
it's summer down there. Let me tell the listeners your fucking awesome thing. Kill Cliff is the title sponsor and in kind of sponsoring this big competition, the Kill Cliff Championships, the East Coast Championships, out in Boston at CrossFit Reebok 1. And they, in case you haven't figured out yet, also sponsor our show and are flying out the Wodcast podcast skeleton crew to go cover the East Coast Championships. And I would say they'd be flying out the Wodcast podcast, but I'm going to be on the other side of the fucking world.
And I'm gonna be at Wadapalooza
And Eddie's going to be
competing.
Eddie's competing at Wadapalooza. So we're sending Scott and Machete to fucking Boston.
Who I just found out. Do you know they're sharing a hotel room together?
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That is so awesome. Man, I'm so bummed about this, like missing this.
Oh my gosh.
Can you
Dude.
imagine if all three of us were in a hotel
Oh,
room
shit.
together?
It's going down.
So luckily for us, Baker's a super cool dude. He's really nice, nice enough to sort of put us up in that hotel. I believe it's going to be a
It's a 5-star hotel.
Quinta Inn instead of
Actually,
some Best Western.
The hotel that was setting us up is actually really nice, and I think they moved the competition to an arena that's attached to the hotel.
Oh, okay.
So we don't think we actually necessarily have to go outside where
Oh,
it's
that's
cold.
good.
But
It's not that cold. I love how Scott's like, oh my god, it's 40
Well,
degrees.
no,
40
wait a
degrees. It's gonna be
second, wait
fucking
a second.
freezing. We're both LA guys. Dude.
this
Come on.
this whole thing started when I was paying attention to the weather a week or two ago during that whole cold weather storm. and it
Right.
was
The
like-
polar vortex.
Yeah, it was minus 2,000 degrees. So anywho, we're going to be interviewing Rich Froning, Chris Spieler, Elizabeth Akinwale, and as well as Stacy Tovar and a bunch of other cool names. So I'll be posting that stuff.
It's gonna be a really cool weekend. I think so. Baker's gonna be co-hosting some of the shows with you as well. He'll be sitting in on them and sort of providing another voice, which will be really cool. And the show is basically going to East Coast.
Can you have a section where Machete asks questions that have like nothing to do with
That
CrossFit?
would be so sick.
Just let him ask questions
Just
like,
any question,
what's your
Machete.
favorite burrito?
Where's the last time you got your hair cut?
If you were going to use a drug, which one would you use?
Yeah. I'll
When you
totally
go to
go.
Cheesecake Factory, which appetizer do you prefer to get?
So we
What
plan
product
on,
do you use in your hair?
There you go.
We're going to be doing.
Have you ever worn ladies' underwear?
Can we please do that? Can we have a Machete section?
Yeah, I'll work it out. I have other plans. We're going to have a camera guy there filming some of the shenanigans.
Uncle Tio's going with you.
Yeah.
Tio Richard.
Uncle Tio.
Uncle Tio.
Uncle Tio.
I don't think Uncle Tio's going with us.
Tio.
No. I don't think Uncle Tio is going with you guys. Is he?
No.
Oh, thank God. I was like, come on, man. Fucking Uncle Tio.
Uncle Tio.
Uncle Tio. We have to call him that from now on.
Uncle Tio.
So needless to say, we'll be posting.
By the way, he doesn't know Spanish either.
Oh man.
Do the people
that
know who
was,
he
that was
is?
me. Sorry, I bumped my microphone on my head.
Do people know who Uncle Tio is?
No.
Oh,
Tio Richard, Uncle Tio is Machete's uncle.
Machete's uncle who did our.
Who
his
Machete-
name is not Tio.
who
Tio
I-
means uncle in Spanish.
Who I think Machete smuggled over the border to do camera work for us.
he does camera work for
Because he
us.
does-
He's a freelance camera worker.
Yeah.
So anywho, yeah, we'll be posting questions. I kind of want to. I'm gonna be making sure that all the guys we meet, like Froning, I'm sure he knows and is a big fan of Armen.
Everybody's a big fan of him. I'm the greatest intermediate CrossFitter of all time.
I'm sure Spieler's gonna have questions for Armen to send back. So I think this is a good time to get in our lightning round. Armen, if you want to get those staged while I talk about our new sponsor for the lightning round.
Yep.
So this week's lightning round is sponsored by High Temp Weights. And if you guys don't know, it's probably a lot of the weights that we use in these CrossFit gyms. I'm sure maybe in Armen's gym, and I know in my gym at Dogtown, it's all high temp weights. The rubber weights are made from recycled material, and through their fancy molding techniques, they've developed some of the toughest training weights available today. The weights are solid rubber and feature a stainless steel sleeve in the center for proven durability. They have 15 years of constant improvement. The high temp plate is no equal in combination of price and strength. A couple cool things about them. They were used in the CrossFit Games. They're also quieter and safer to use on floor than steel plates. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. The other cool thing is that they have a 1-year replacement, so if you bust them up, they'll replace them. And lastly, one other cool thing about it is that the 10-pound and the 15-pound plates are the same diameter as the heavier plates, so the bar is not sitting lower than it is when you have the 45-pound weights, or the big old ones, the 65-pound weights that Armen uses all the time. So if you guys are interested in equipment, they also have plyo boxes and squat racks and jump ropes and all kinds of cool stuff. Go check them out at hightempweights.com. They also have a High Temp Athletics, so check it out, Google it, look them up on Facebook. And now let's get started with that lightning round.
So Christopher Monachino asked whether Rip complimented me on my mullet. In fact, he didn't really mention my mullet at all, which is interesting. He also wanted to know if we could explain a little more detail about what happened with Kevin. We did that. And, recording the 100th episode. He said we should do the 100th episode of the East Coast Championships. We're going to be doing episodes at the East Coast Championships, but our 100th episode is with Bob Harper.
I can actually answer that. Is that during the time that the 100th episode, when we would normally record, Armen's going to be gone, and then eventually Eddie's going to be gone for a long time. So it'd be kind of absolutely silly for us to do our 100th episode with just one of us, not all of us there. So that's why we're recording sooner. And then your buddy...
I'm going to record some segments in Australia. I'll be down there. I work out at CrossFit Adelaide the first month while I'm there, and that's Amanda Allen's gym.
Cool.
You were talking about Ben Gerard. I'm not going to his gym because he lives in the bush somewhere. But
Amanda Allen was there.
Yeah, I know. She's a freak. She's like 42 years old or something.
Oh, did she almost look like she was going to win?
Yeah, I think I keep thinking she is going to win. She broke her femur though last year, and then still competed in the game. She's a freak. But her gym is the one that I go to every day. She doesn't own it; she just trains there. But I figured I can get a couple of the guys from down in Melbourne and maybe Commando Steve.
Sick.
Yeah. So when
Commando
I go to
Steve.
Yeah, when I go to Sydney.
Sweet.
So he hosts their Biggest Loser down there.
Oh,
and
cool.
That's awesome.
He's a psycho.
Awesome. So do you want to get our buddy? Was it Jean-Francois?
There we go, Jean-Francois Prou.
Can Armen talk about the programming when he participated at the OC Throwdown to where it is now? Is the workload getting a little crazy?
I think comparatively it probably isn't.
It
isn't much crazier.
I
think compared to 2012, there's a difference.
I completely blame you for the escalation and your physical prowess and how you dominated.
Because I fucking just embarrassed everybody.
Because you pissed Brown and had rhabdo.
That was last year. That was not the year I won. The year I won,
that's
so
all the kafir.
Let's see. The year I won the events, there was a kettlebell swing and burpee couplet that was just a fucking burner. There was descending weights, ascending ladder of reps with clean and jerks and muscle up couplet. That was really tough.
You're like Rain Man, how you remember
there
workouts.
was a CrossFit Total event that was 2 minutes max back squat, 2 minutes to find your max back squat, 2 minutes to find your max press, 2 minutes to find your max deadlift, and then 2 minutes to find a max box jump. There was an event that was...
What were you OCD about before CrossFit?
That's a great lightning round question. Because
I refuse to answer it.
This is the lightning round.
I refuse to answer it.
I need to know.
Wait, hold on. Let's talk about it.
I refuse to answer it.
Armen, you sit there and be quiet. Eddie, I bet you it was like Magic Gathering cards or something.
I know there's some freakish thing that he was
Am I right?
into. There had to be something you were obsessed with.
Gathering.
What were you obsessed with?
What was I obsessed with before CrossFit?
Yeah, before you found CrossFit.
Let's see. Directly before CrossFit,
Argyle socks.
No, right before I started CrossFit.
So there's been a number of things.
There's been a number of things.
Just spit it out. It's a lightning round.
World of Warcraft.
That's exactly what I said.
My God.
That's
Isn't
right.
that exactly what
You're
I
a
said?
workout nerd.
Yeah, I am. That's it. Let's see what other events there were.
Spit it out already. We got a lot more questions.
There was one that was like chest bar pull-ups, handstand push-ups, and overhead squats. There was one that was like rowing, thrusters, and box jumps. Anyway, I think in 2012 it was a little tamer. I think 2013 things got really, really fucking wild. I mean, that 7K run with the sandbag almost hospitalized me. There was a workout that was all pulling. It was chest bar pull-ups and muscle ups in the same workout. There was a workout that was one of the gnarliest workouts I've ever done, which was because I was fucking dying at the moment. It was like push jerks with 185 and pistols, followed by squat cleans and GHD sit-ups, followed by snatches and rope climbs. And that like series of couplets is like a sick fucking event, and it's really cool, but it was so fucking hard to do.
Did you?
It was
Question,
so
because I didn't get to see it. Scott get to see it. I know I'm ruining the lightning round.
Whatever.
The run, where they had to run with 2 kettlebells, then drop one, run with one, then run without.
Yeah.
There were guys running it in 20 minutes. Am I right? I was looking at the scorebord.
Elite, dude. What do you want me to do?
No. That's a 20-minute 5K, basically.
Yeah, no.
That they're running with 100. It was
1.5 pood kettlebells.
So they're running with 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're running a 6 minute.
I didn't watch that one.
They're running a 6.5 minute mile?
No, it couldn't have been.
That doesn't sound right.
Okay, what you're probably looking at was scored into 2 events. So I think
maybe the first 2 miles are one event and the last mile is its own event.
So it was Welcome to Hell, they called the first part.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
And then the second part.
So it was taking the fastest guy was doing the weighted ones in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then the second part
something.
they called Run Like Hell was the last mile with no weight.
Okay, that makes total sense then, because I was like, how the fuck are these guys running? How were they carrying the weights?
A lot of different
Most
ways.
people were over their back.
mostly like over their shoulder or whatever, but they moved it around.
So awkward.
I don't want to do that.
Nope.com.
So moving forward, Jeff Peters. This is kind of switching to the new announcement that CrossFit came out. I don't remember which episode, but Armen called it a new video submission requirement.
Boom.
I'm sure he won't forget to mention that.
I do not.
Can you guys think of any reason why athletes should not have to declare individual or team at the start? That's the first part of the question. Open team scores are skewed by top individual contributions. In these cases, regional team members aren't representing the open team and could prevent good teams from qualifying in some cases. I can answer that real quick.
Go for it.
At Dogtown, we have in the past had Lindsay Valenzuela and Val Wobrel attached, and obviously their open scores help our team into regionals. We obviously know the whole time they're not going to be competing on the team, even though I think they're selfish for not, because I want to go to the games too, you know. But in the previous years, we've ended up 5th in Southern California, or somewhere near the top, and at the regionals, that's where we ended up at regionals. So it's not like we got 5th place and then dropped to like 30th place because they weren't there. Even though this past year we ended up 15th, but either way, we were in the top 15 gyms in the Southern California in the regionals. But at the same time, while that helps us, I agree with that rule, and I don't have the answer.
I mean, I think simply put, CrossFit is not a team sport.
Yep.
The team aspect of CrossFit is like an artifact. It's created. It looks interesting. It's fun to watch sometimes, but it's an artifact. So
you're killing Tony Budding's thing.
No, in that case, it's going to be awesome.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
You know what it is? If they dress the girls right, and it's going to be successful.
The girls are just there for cheerleading, right? It's like
I think
sports are made for
I
men.
think Tony Budding knows more than we all know.
Yeah,
because he's been behind the closed
doors. Did you see?
And he knows where the numbers are and where the numbers aren't.
Did you watch the behind the scenes, the games documentaries? Probably fucking not. They're long.
I saw them.
You saw them. So I watched them.
You guys watch those?
I watched them.
I watched The Bartenders, which was fucking amazing.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, those guys are really cool.
Yeah.
That's the gym I work out in New York.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, and it's I forget the name of it, but the Sean, the guy that runs it, really nice guy, and the bartenders are freaks.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to learn that stuff.
Yeah. During that behind the scenes games thing, by the way, they're talking shit about Tony Budding the entire time.
Really?
The entire time. I mean, like Dave Castro is like basically calling him retarded, like nonstop. Like he has like a phrase that he uses to confuse Tony Budding, so he stops talking to him.
So I guess we're not getting Tony Budding on the show now.
He does. It's weird. It's so weird to me. No, like I'm not
You're
saying,
saying he says he has a phrase, or
no, like he like turns to the camera once and he's like, "Did Tony figure out the go get Starbucks thing?" And they're like, "Yeah, he figured out that you're just trying to get rid of him." He's like, "Okay, we have to come up with a new thing to come up with, like, you know, talk to him." And like you can see, like visibly, Tony Budding is like, "I can't fucking communicate with this guy." Like he has he has like conversations where he's trying to say something to Dave Castro, and Dave Castro is like, "Okay, whatever, just fuck off." Like
now I'm gonna go watch those.
Yeah.
How long are they?
they're long. It's like a total of like 2 hours.
Is it like playing a whole game of World of Warcraft?
Okay, listen to what you do. Watch those.
No, that's a lot longer.
Watch those videos. Find out the mark and then text it to us.
Fuck that.
So James Brewer, what changes do you think? Okay, James, we answered those first questions, and he also continues thoughts on announced random PED testing of top level CrossFit Games guys.
Yeah.
We'll wait till they prove that actually works.
Yeah, well, listen, once all the competitors aren't being employed by CrossFit, I'll start believing that the PED testing is legitimate. Until then, it doesn't fucking matter. In fact, they should fucking put everyone on PEDs because it's exciting to watch, and PEDs are banned for a dumb fucking reason. So just get everyone on testosterone and HGH, and let's have like a real fucking games. Let's see how far people can go.
And then DJ Soul, we answered your question briefly. We kind of grazed to it, but we kind of got to it. Tim Squires. He also wants to know why not require declaring team or individual prior to the start of the Open. I mean, ultimately, we just do the Open like you guys do as well. And unless CrossFit is listening to us and then figure it out. Will Jones, the internets have been pretty quiet about what happened with Ogar. It's tragic for sure. As a box owner, okay, how did he injure? Either way, go to kevinogar.com and help out there, you guys. And also, I kind of want to point out one thing with that is that help out continuously. I know it's a hot topic now, but keep it a hot topic for a long time because he's going to need the help. With that being said, Jeff Peters, should CrossFit Inc. get involved in the aftermath of the catastrophic injury?
No. No, it's not their business.
But I think they are going to do something. We don't know what they're going to do yet, but they will be involved.
I mean, I think they can get involved maybe in terms of like helping with fundraising, but it's not their business to get involved with any sort of the legal issues or any sort of the details.
All right. Then, Armen, you have Yvette there? Are you following
Yvette Alcanians.
There you go. Should CrossFit make it mandatory for athletes to have health insurance?
No, it's a free country. If they don't want to have health insurance, it's their choice.
It's not a free country. The country's making you have health insurance now.
Well, it's no longer a free country, but still, I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter.
So from here on, everyone will have health insurance.
That's the idea.
But they also have to, Yvette, something to point out is that CrossFit had nothing to do with the OC Throwdown. It sounds like you're saying CrossFit as a business. So even though they might get tied into some lawsuits for somehow or another, but they had nothing to do with it. But I'm sure they have their stuff covered when they have the CrossFit sanctioned events. Matt
Rogers has a great question. Should all these people that suddenly think heavy Oli lifts should not be in comps fuck off? Yes. Yeah. Yes, they should.
Yes, they should. Becky Miller, Sam Briggs performed an amazing feat, finishing the triple chipper. Do you think it was too much for a final event, or would it have been okay? We talked about that. Longer time cap. I want to see more people climbing and more people.
Leave the time cap where it is if you want logistics. If you just cut the reps down to like 3/4 of where it was, and you should have seen more people get there.
And then Becky Miller also wants to know, what do you think of Danielle Siddell's domination of the Great Lakes Invitational this past weekend? How do you think she'll play in the mix this year, along with the return of Fouché and Thorisdottir?
I think Danielle Siddell is the real fucking deal. She is going to put a goddamn beating on some people at the games this year. I think if she's going to be at the East Coast Championships, you got to make that shit happen. Will.
Do you see all those like dark, like naked pictures she took for?
For that climb that rope.
Yeah,
she's a good looking girl.
Yeah,
you know, even crazier, by the way, Elizabeth Akinwale, who blocked me on Twitter for some reason. I don't even understand. Elizabeth Akinwale, if you're listening, unblock me on Twitter.
Hey, I'll work that out for you.
Elizabeth Akinwale was like, yeah, she'll do good at the games if she can pass a PED test.
Ooh.
Like straight up.
Maybe this is why she blocked you.
Well, no, then she chimed in.
And then Danielle Siddell was like, there's going to be a test? Do I get study materials?
Yeah. Okay, Jordan.
Either way, that's a real classy response there. That's real classy.
Kevin Simmons, guys love the show, and then he continues with writing a really long paragraph that I think
Kevin Simmons or Jordan Simmons?
Yeah, Jordan Simmons. I read Kevin in his thing. So he says, I'm gonna skip because I think we talked about a lot of the stuff that he said, and it's his idea for the 100th episode would be to invite everyone Armen has ever pissed off and sit down and talk about each other's feelings.
No thanks.
That would be a line out the door.
To put his question into really short, he wants to know: do you think the volume before the incident, or the programming, had anything to do with it? And the answer to that question is a resounding no.
No, all they did that day was do the.
It was a freak accident.
The 3
It was a
mile
freak
thing.
accident. It has
How
nothing to do
many
with
tough competitions go on at CrossFits all over the world? And this one time it happened.
Yeah.
And then there's a healthcare. Andrew Crow writes in from Australia, I think, about having insurance and what it costs and stuff. And it sounds like it's about the same as it is here.
Oh, $50 to $100 a fortnight. By the
For
way,
us,
it's
really?
2 weeks.
Somebody saying that in Australia?
A fortnight.
That's for private. Public,
Yeah,
they
that's
all
private.
get it free.
That's for private. Yeah.
They've got a good system there. And all Aussies are going to tell me they don't, but it's a lot better than here.
I still think the OC Throwdown, to answer Eric Lancaster's question, was programmed appropriately. Maybe the last workout could have been different, so more people finished.
Yeah, but that's also hindsight. Well, I mean, maybe you run the events and let someone go through it. You know, I think they do that with the CrossFit Games. They try out every event before they do it. They have a couple of the pros come in and try those events.
Yeah, but they
out.
don't try. Like, I think what happened with the OC Throwdown is that people tried that last workout, but they also didn't do the whole entire prior 3 days.
Yeah, that's a good point. So people probably got through it.
They probably can get through it fresh.
I couldn't.
No. And then let's see, Joshua Armstrong, more Kevin question and wishing Kevin best wishes to him and his family. Following Carl Zahowski.
He wants to know if it makes sense to make a governing body that reviews events and workouts taking place in those in local events. While that does seem to make sense, it's not feasible. Then that would mean that every outside event is sanctioned, and that would change the entire competitive structure of CrossFit. The season would completely change, the pay structure would completely change, and
It'll happen
be a really
though.
big deal.
It'll happen as leagues develop and organizations develop, and they will sanction stuff. And it's like any other sport. And they'll say, you know, there's certain rules, and people are bored.
Yeah, so I think that.
I think that
sums it up
pretty
for the
much-
lightning round. We addressed most of the other questions. Oh wait, a new comment just came in.
That was Jay.
Jay, maybe it's time for CrossFit. Jay Hachadorian, maybe it's time for CrossFit HQ to start a group health insurance plan for affiliate owners and
No.
coaches. Absolutely not. It's not going to work.
No. That's all I have to say to anybody who's talking about fucking group health insurance.
Everybody's dropping their group
No.
health insurance because of Obamacare.
Yeah, no. Just no. Stop it.
Look, if you don't have health insurance, it's pretty simple.
Go
out
get
there,
health insurance.
Go out there and get just the one that covers you for catastrophe like this.
Yep.
And it's going to cost you somewhere around $150 a month.
Yeah, and now they can't
would,
say no if something happens. So if you were to pay for the cheapest one and have a catastrophic instrument just for the next year, sign up for the greatest one there is, and suddenly they have to pay for fucking everything because there's no choice in it anymore.
Yeah.
Welcome to Obamacare, my friends. All right, thank you very much for listening to the Wodcast podcast. This episode was a lot of fun. I love sitting down and hanging out with these guys and talking trash, and I know you guys love listening to it. Can't wait to get back to you next time I record. Oh no, yeah, I'll be recording while I'm here. I was gonna say next time I record is after I get back from Antarctica. Whatever.
No, we're recording our 100th episode tomorrow, so congrats to us.
All right, folks, take care, be safe, hold the squat.